The air in Kathmandu was charged with a new energy as young faces filled Maitigar Mandala. The atmosphere was electric, buzzing with the hopes and frustrations of a generation that had long felt unheard. Their signs declared a broken trust. Our voices can't be muted, you can't ban our future. These were not just slogans, they were cries for justice and recognition. This was not a protest by political parties, it was the roar of Nepal's Generation Z. A generation that had grown up with the promise of a new Nepal, only to find themselves shackled by the same old problems. Thousands moved as one, chanting and holding up dark screens symbolizing their loss. The dark screens were a powerful metaphor for their silenced voices and censored dreams. The protests spread, drawing in students and young professionals. It was a diverse coalition, united by a common cause and a shared sense of urgency. They organized offline, stunning authorities with their precision. Their ability to mobilize without the aid of social media was a testament to their determination and ingenuity. This was a generation promised a new Nepal but suffocated by old problems. Their faces reflected a mix of hope and frustration, a yearning for change tempered by the weight of reality. Their plea for digital rights hardened into a demand for a better future. They were not just asking for access to the internet, they were demanding a voice in shaping their own destiny. The young were not just fighting for social media, they were fighting for their right to dream. Their determination was palpable, their resolve unbreakable. The streets became a stage for a dramatic confrontation between past and future. It was a clash of ideals, a battle for the soul of a nation. The world began to watch as Nepal's youth demanded their voices be heard. Their struggle resonated far beyond the borders of their country, capturing the attention and admiration of a global audience. A government decree banning social media ignited a nationwide inferno, sending shockwaves through every corner of Nepal. Platforms like Facebook and Instagram were severed overnight, a move widely seen as an act of censorship and control. For Nepal's youth, these platforms were more than just digital tools. They were vital arenas for debate, self-expression, and connection. Social media gave them the power to expose corruption, organize protests, and bypass state-run media to speak truth to power. The ban was an attempt to disarm them, but it revealed a deep misunderstanding of their relationship with the internet and digital life. For this generation, the internet was not just a tool, it was their identity, their community, and their sense of agency in a changing world. The ban unified a generation already simmering with discontent over unemployment, inequality, and a lack of opportunities. The digital blackout became a powerful symbol of the growing disconnect between rulers and the ruled, highlighting the generational divide. The youth saw social media as essential for building a transparent, open society, one where their voices could finally be heard. In trying to silence them, the government inadvertently gave them a powerful cause to rally around, sparking a movement that would not be easily extinguished. The anger on Nepal's streets was about more than a social media ban. It was the culmination of years of betrayal and broken promises. Youth unemployment soared while political elites flaunted wealth. The economy relied on remittances, forcing young people abroad. The government offered little hope, and the ban felt like another closed door. Young people felt ignored by a political system dominated by the same faces. The protests were a demand for a voice in shaping their future. The internet was their space for empowerment and self-expression. The government's decision was seen as an attack on their identity. Peaceful protests spiraled into violence when met with riot police. Tear gas and water cannons declared war on the youth. Protesters, feeling unheard, targeted symbols of power. Fires lit the sky as government buildings were stormed. Security forces retaliated with overwhelming force. The streets became a battleground, filled with tear gas and burning tires. Hospitals overflowed with the wounded. At least 30 were killed. The dream of a peaceful revolution died on blood-soaked streets. A strict curfew and military presence deepened the divide. The government lost moral authority in the eyes of its youth. The silence was one of simmering, unresolved fury. Behind political headlines lies immense human suffering. Hospitals filled with injured youth bore the marks of the crackdown. Each injury told a story of a future altered and faith shattered. Families of the deceased grieved for children who never returned. Their sorrow symbolized the ultimate price of the uprising. Amidst fear and grief, a powerful emotion took root: pride. Young protesters felt empowered, having made a difference. They forced the world to pay attention and reversed the social media ban. Their actions, costly as they were not in vain. This pride fuels hope for a more just Nepal. An uneasy quiet settles over Kathmandu, enforced by a heavy military presence. The city's familiar bustle is replaced by a tense calm, as soldiers patrol the streets and armored vehicles stand guard at every corner. For many, this silence is unsettling, a reminder of the uncertainty that hangs in the air. The Prime Minister has resigned, and the social media ban has finally been lifted, allowing people to reconnect and share their stories. Yet, despite these dramatic changes, questions linger in every conversation and every glance exchanged on the street. Is this the beginning of genuine reform, or will the entrenched old guard simply adapt and continue as before, clinging to power behind new promises? Protesters fill the streets demanding not just surface-level changes but deep-rooted reforms and a new, more accountable political culture. Nepal's uprising is part of a global youth movement, a wave of young people around the world challenging entrenched power structures and demanding their voices be heard. Generation Z, in particular, is at the forefront, demanding transparency, accountability, and a future free from the failures and corruption of the past. The world's eyes are now on Nepal, watching closely as the country becomes a barometer for this global struggle for justice and change. The path forward remains uncertain. The old guard is resilient, skilled at weathering storms and adapting to new threats. The real test will be whether the energy and passion of the streets can be transformed into lasting political power and meaningful change. For now, the youth have changed the political landscape, toppling a government and inspiring hope in many. The question that remains is what will be built in its place: a fleeting rebellion, or the foundation of a hopeful new era for